Look, people are messy. All of us, all the time. We have lovely, wonderful, gracious sides to us, and we have mean-spirited, grumpy, cruel sides, and we're both in the same person. As much as we might want to imagine or wish that the world were completely divided up into nothing but virtuous heroes and nothing but terrible villains, all of us at our best also have elements of our worst in us. I mean, pop culture tells us things like there's clear-cut good guys and clear-cut bad guys, right? In the old westerns, it was whoever's wearing the white hat is a hero, whoever's wearing the black hat is the villain. In Star Wars, whoever is wielding the blue or green lightsaber, they're the good guys, they're the Jedi. Whoever is wielding a red lightsaber, clearly an evil Sith, Dark Lord. And the real world, including the Bible's world, is full of messy people who sometimes do great things and sometimes do selfish things, sometimes very, very close in time to each other. That's another thing we're going to look at this week in our ongoing series in the book of Judges, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This week in Judges, in our study, we're going to meet two figures who have some really interesting stories and some impressive accomplishments on their resumes, but also some really, really difficult moments as well. We're going to take a look at the stories of leaders like Gideon and Jephthah, and both are remembered for heroic military battles and defeating enemies who had invaded and taken parts of the people and the land of ancient Israel. And also there's moments where both Gideon and Jephthah speak up and act boldly in favor of worship of Yahweh, the God of Israel, rather than the many gods and goddesses of the surrounding nations. So at one level, they're remembered as heroic, positive leaders. But also, the book of Judges doesn't blush about telling us that these very same leaders also have some really, really significant weaknesses. And by the end of the story of Gideon, he'll have ended up melting down a bunch of gold into an idol that people start worshiping and breaking the number one rule in ancient Israel, not worshiping God, but having done enough that was good that he gets remembered as a positive leader. Jephthah, also, again, remembered as a fierce, valiant voice in favor of God, the God of Israel, Yahweh, but also ends up making a terrible vow that ends up costing his daughter her life. It turns out all the people in the Bible, even the people who God raises up as leaders, have deep, deep flaws and failures. And the Bible doesn't pretend they don't. It's worth remembering that as we continue studying through the book of Judges, that when the storytelling gives us the exploits of a particular person, a Gideon or a Jephthah, and says, here's something good they did, here's something rotten they did, it's not to endorse everything that a Bible figure does as heroic if they were a leader, or everything they did as evil if they were seen as a bad person, but rather people are messy and sometimes do great things alongside terrible things. Sometimes they do wise things along foolish things. And rather than just saying that if someone is your leader, they're unquestionably always good, or if you decide that there's one reason you don't like somebody, you can never listen to anything they have to say, the Bible sort of reminds us that's not how it works. God works with the raw materials of real people, and real people are messy. As we explore these stories this coming Thursday, continuing our study through Judges, I want to invite you not only to listen and without blushing acknowledge that here are these people in the Bible who do great things and sometimes also do stupid or rotten things, but maybe also to be honest about the way that we look at ourselves. Sometimes we want to imagine, because we're the people of God, we believe in Jesus, we're churchgoers, that we're nothing but virtuous, lovely people, and we want to pretend that there aren't these broken places, these growing edges, these deep flaws and fissures in us. And similarly, we want to write off other people as nothing but awful if I don't like something about them. The book of Judges forces us to see ourselves and others, even in this day, honestly. And that means that really, if there's a hero in the book of Judges, it's God, who's willing to keep working with people who keep turning away and leaders who sometimes get it and sometimes absolutely blow it, and that God ultimately insists on being faithful to the people, bringing them out of danger, even when it means using flawed instruments to do it. Because honestly, that's all God has to work with, is us, flawed instruments. God is more committed to loving and saving the actual us than replacing us with some imaginary perfect us who never mess up in the first place. Knowing that, even when we have to read about the disappointing exploits of people like Gideon or Jephthah, knowing that gives me hope. So I hope you'll join us for that conversation this coming Thursday as our study on Judges continues, as this week we take a look at the stories of Gideon and Jephthah. See you then.